The densely packed cities of Europe have long had issues with burial space. In Paris, bodies were piled on top of bodies, while bones not yet stripped of flesh were dug up and stuffed into buildings. The contents of one cemetery even burst into nearby cellars. Officials eventually closed the cemeteries and had their contents dug up and transferred to mining tunnels beneath the city. There, the bones were neatly sorted for efficient storage. Today, the catacombs of Paris contain an estimated 6 million bodies. Guided tours are available. However, it's fairly common for people to access the catacombs illegally, and some have even died after becoming lost in the maze of bones. Starting in the 1960s, the prehistoric forest in Irish Hills, Michigan offered visitors a woodland safari filled with fiberglass dinosaurs, mammoths, and other extinct creatures. The park closed in 1999, and it's changed hands several times. However, no one has actually done anything with it. The dinosaurs remain, but in increasingly poor condition. Many have been spray painted, knocked over, broken, and even stolen by pranksters. Others have been worn down by the elements, and the surrounding foliage has been steadily engulfing what's left. In an attempt to remind believers of the transitory nature of life, a 16th century Franciscan monk built the Chapel of Bones in Portugal. The walls and support pillars are covered in neatly arranged skulls and long bones harvested from approximately 5,000 previously buried monks. Slightly less aesthetically pleasing are the two poorly mummified corpses, one of which is a child, hanging from the ropes. Munich, Uzbekistan used to be a prosperous city housing tens of thousands of people supporting themselves with industrial fishing and canning. Today, Munich is miles from any coast. In the 1950s, aggressive Soviet agricultural projects began diverting so much water from the Aral Sea for irrigation that it has all but vanished. Most of the residents have left, but the buildings they left behind are not the creepiest part of Munich. Numerous rusting fishing boats now rest on desert sand, the sea having drained away beneath them. A church was built in the center of an established cemetery in Sedlec in what is now the Czech Republic. Many skeletons were exhumed during construction, and others were regularly removed to make room for the newly dead. For centuries, these bones existed in heaps in the Sedlec ossuary beneath the church. In 1870, František Rint was hired to bring order to all the bones, which come from about 40,000 people. What he created was artwork, albeit macabre art. The centerpiece is a gigantic skeletal chandelier. Other touches include Rint signing his name into the bone. PRIPYAT, Ukraine was once home to 50,000 people, many associated with the nearby Chernobyl nuclear power plant. When one of the reactors melted down in 1986, residents were quickly evacuated with little time to pack. The government continues to forbid anyone from living there, and permission must be granted for anyone to visit. Those who do will find decaying buildings, abandoned toys, a rusting amusement park, child-sized gas masks, and more. You have to be dedicated to visit the Oktun Tunichel Muknal cave in Belize. Travel includes a long walk through the jungle and a swim before reaching your destination. The cave is a 1,000-year-old Mayan sacrificial center bearing 14 skeletons, from small children to adults. There's suspicion that some of the victims were even bound and tortured. The most well-known skeleton is that of the Crystal Maiden. Centuries of flooding have deposited a thick coat of calcium over her bones, giving them a crystalline appearance. She is cemented to the floor by these deposits. She appears to have been roughly dropped rather than placed in a ceremonial position, suggesting she may have suffered a particularly brutal death. According to Julian Santana Barrera, the body of a small girl washed up on the shore of the island of Dolls in Mexico. A doll also washed up, and out of respect, he hung it from a tree. Over time, he hung more and more dolls, believing they possessed the spirits of other girls. Now, thousands of dolls and doll parts hang from the island's trees, slowly decaying as they are exposed to the elements. Stories abound about the experiences on the island, including hearing the dolls whispering and seeing them turn their heads. 50 years after Barrera started his project, he too was found dead, drowned in the same spot he had originally found the little girl. Climbing Mount Everest is so dangerous, the upper portion of the mountain is known as the death zone, where humans can only operate for a very short time before succumbing to oxygen deprivation. Almost 300 people have died climbing the world's tallest mountain, and the bodies of more than 150 remain. Bringing bodies off the mountain is dangerous at best and impossible at worst. Many climbers have died attempting to bring bodies down, so those at high altitudes are simply abandoned for all to see. Some are even recognizable landmarks for experienced climbers. In 1962, a coal mine beneath the small town of Centralia, Pennsylvania caught on fire, and it didn't go out, and it hasn't gone out. Today, that fire still burns, and Centralia is abandoned. The fire has compromised the stability of the town, with portions periodically collapsing into the mine. The buildings that once made up the town have largely been bulldozed, meaning cracked and overgrown roads run through an empty field. Stones in this field glow red hot, and steam can be observed rising from the ground. The area also presents a serious danger of carbon monoxide poisoning. It's estimated the fire will last another 250 years. For more top lists just like this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget to check out our other lists. And thanks for watching, and thanks for learning.